Hello, wonderful people. We're looking today at Optus X Start 3. It's the cheapest Optus phone you can get. It is locked to the Optus network. I did try and put another SIM card in there, but it just wouldn't take it. It's got a 5-inch display, 32 gig memory, 5 megapixel camera, although it is a bit on the woolly side, not the best kind of quality camera. But what do you expect for pretty much one of the cheapest phones you can get out there? You've got 1.4 gigahertz quad-core chipset, which sounds pretty impressive, but it still is pretty slow in a lot of ways. But you know what? It does the job. So what's inside? Well, we've got the actual phone itself in a fun little kind of envelope. The USB connection, we've got the USB charger, and what else is in here? Of course, like there's a little welcome pack there, and we've got the prepaid SIM all ready to go to be installed. And of course, interestingly, we have the battery included separately. Fun little paper bag there. Screen protector on the front there. Got to use this little lip here to open up the back and stick the battery in before you can expect it to turn on. And with a lot of these very cost-effective phones, they take forever to boot up, especially the first time. We can get started here. It's going to ask what language, and it's even got Australian English. Don't know what makes it too much different than British English, but I don't know, you can tell me. So this one shipped with 49% battery straight out of the box, which is pretty good these days. But you will want to plug it in as you download the updates, which you'll surely need to do, and allow maybe 10-15 minutes for it to do its thing, because there will be a security update between the time the phone was manufactured and when you get your grubby little hands on it. So make sure you allow time for that. If the phone doesn't prompt you to install an update, you can just search the settings and it'll even highlight where you've got a system update, and it's checking for updates, thinking very slowly, and sure enough, there is a major update available as a patch for the system. Only 58 meg, but update it and you'll be good to go. And leave it and go play the trumpet. If you do try and put in another SIM card, this is the cheery little message you get. Device is network locked. Please enter network unlock code. 10 attempts remaining. Emergency calls only. So that's pretty much Optus's way of keeping you with Optus, but that's okay. After it's installed, it'll ask you to restart, and it will take forever to install the update, think about it, restart. So if you're in a hurry, probably not the best time to be updating your phone, but something that needs to be done. Nano SIM card goes in here, just squeeze it in, just pop the cover back on. Now I took the phone out for a bit of a road test to document my rock and roll lifestyle of croissants and coffee. And as you can see, the camera on the phone just took forever to open up. Touchscreen was a little bit hard to navigate. Maybe also it just would take a bit of warming up and a bit of finessing. Yeah, I'm trying to take some spellbinding video of my brunch. But as you can see here, couldn't quite tell if it was recording. Sort of tapped it a couple of times, and finally it was recording. And you can see the counter on the top there. So that might take a little bit of getting used to, and I'll post this video. And here's what it looked like. So not too bad. Kind of a bit laggy. It's not going to win any prizes at Cannes Film Festival. And just to give you an idea of how slow this is, I got this message. Messages is processing in the background, meaning there was a message coming in and it had to actually tell me that it was processing the message coming in. But still no notification. I had to click on the little icon there and then we could see it finally. But on the way back from the coffee shop, I snapped this wistful photo, and as you can see, it's quite acceptable. It's not too blurry, bright colors. Look, it'll do in a pinch, but I'd say not too bad for literally the cheapest smartphone out there. If you've got a working SIM card in there, it makes calls just fine, but let's face it, who's using their phone to make calls these days? Let's have a look at some of the apps here. We've got Google Assistant, we've got the calculator. I did check it, 2 + 2 does equal 4, so that's working. You've got the calendar, camera, Chrome is the browser. You can set an alarm. Contacts, I did install Facebook and some of the other apps there, and they work fine, still with your general system lag, which isn't as snappy as some of the other places. There's a light version of Maps and Gmail. They're called Go version, so I guess it's just a few less features and a bit lighter and a bit easier on the CPU. As you can see, I've downloaded a few other apps like Spotify and NordVPN and Instagram. They don't come with the phone, but you can hit the Play Store to download third-party apps that aren't already installed. You will need a Google account for that, as is the case with all Android phones. It also does have a built-in voice recorder as well, which was pretty handy. One cool little feature that I did find was that it actually has an FM radio. You actually have to plug something into the headphone jack, and unlike the way a lot of other phones are going with the USB-C connection, this actually does have a headphone jack, which is good if you've got the old wired headphones. I did a quick scan, and you can move between the different stations on the dial here. You can rescan up here. It'll do a sweep and find all the stations broadcasting in your area.
Is a winding road. But that's all right. That's all right. How's your weekend been going?
Good. Yeah, busy.
So what's the bottom line? I bought this phone for $49, which you can barely get a pot and palmer for these days in Australia. Pretty much the cheapest smartphone you can get, but it's not very quote-unquote smart because it does take a little while. It's a bit slow. So if you're not in a rush to snap that award-winning photo of birds in flight, it's perfectly serviceable, works pretty fine. It just takes a little while longer for a lot of the processes to happen, even as you saw, getting the messages to come through. So I probably wouldn't recommend it. In this case, you do get what you pay for and maybe a little bit more.